Today we hear words passed down through generations from the book of Luke. Let us listen to these words of the Spirit. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee, standing by himself, was praying thus, God, I thank you that I am not like other people, thieves, rogues, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week, I give a tenth of all my income. But the tax collector, standing far off, would not even lift up his eyes to heaven, but was beating his breast and saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his home justified rather than the other, for all who exalt themselves will be humbled, but all who humble themselves will be exalted. Hear what the Spirit is saying. Thanks be to God.
Beloved, good morning. I didn't hear Lisa's good morning, but it's fine. It's fine. We're here. And over the past few weeks, you and I have, based on the theme, we've been using the image of Trivial Pursuit to reflect on how we move through life. I have a confession. And it's not a surprising one. I'm not American, I don't know Trivial Pursuit. Right? But as a South African, my reference point, as soon as we started working on this sermon series, my reference point was 30 seconds. This is also a team-based game built around general knowledge. But it's fast, it's quick. I don't know if you have examples of some of the questions that we have. But it's about naming places, people, and things under pressure. The difference is that 30 seconds is fast and it's urgent. While Trivial Pursuit is slow, you see, can we go to the Madonna example? So it combines general knowledge and charades. And you have to get all of those with your team members in 30 seconds. Imagine trying to explain to someone who Robert Downey Jr. is, who does not like movies, right? Or Finding Nemo to someone like me who does not have kids. The general knowledge there goes out the window. Thank you. So it has to be done in 30 seconds. The heart of the two games, though, is the same. You gather correct answers to move forward and eventually win, right? What we've been noticing in this series is how easy that some patterns slip into our everyday lives. Often we measure ourselves by what we can gather and maintain. What do I mean by that? Success at work, stability at home, how we show up to our children, for our children and families, a sense of responsibility, even faithfulness in our spiritual lives. We begin to feel that if we can get enough of the right pieces, all these pieces in place, then things will settle. We will feel secure and we will feel like we are doing all right. At first, this feels healthy, and it is. It is taking care, it's about taking care of your business, as we say in other corners. It is about being responsible, but over time, some shift quietly happens beneath the surface. The question changes. It becomes less about what we are doing and more about who we are. And the question sometimes becomes, am I enough? It's not even about, am I doing enough? But am I enough? That question has a way of showing up in every part of our lives. It shows up at work. Am I doing enough at work? It shows up in our relationships. It shows up in how, sadly, sometimes we relate to God. Without realizing it, we walk with the Spirit to begin to feel like something we need to manage well. Like me walking with the Spirit is something that I really need to manage and get right, get proper. Our prayers sometimes can be like, did I say the right word? Like, did I use the right word? Does it come across as if did I do enough in that prayer? Even fasting for some of us can sometimes become something that we use to reassure ourselves. The actual act of fasting sometimes is about, am I good enough Christian? Can I do the 40 days? And I bring this up because even some back at home, we don't even observe the Sunday break because it has to be fasting from day 1 of Lent to the last day. If you break the fast, it's like, I did not do enough. It is in this kind of space that Jesus tells the story that Phil read for us. Jesus says, 2 people go up to the temple to pray. One is a Pharisee and the other is a tax collector. The Pharisee stands there and begins to pray. I can just see him. On the surface, his life looks strong and steady. He fasts regularly. He gives faithfully. He is disciplined in his fasting and in his giving. Right? And that's good, right? He is the kind of person many communities would admire and depend on. Because he is regular and disciplined, he is dependable. And that's good, right? That's good. As he prays, he thanks God. But then something else begins to come through. He starts to compare himself with others. He names how he is different from people he considers less faithful. Then he lists what he does well. What we hear is not so much a conversation with God, but a kind of self-accounting. It is as though he is quickly reviewing his life in presence of God. He's got the checklist, and he's checking himself in the presence of God. You see, God, I did this, check. I did this, check. The tax collector stands at a distance. He does not look up. He does not offer explanation. He simply says, God, be merciful to me. And that's all he says. And then Jesus tells us something surprising. He says that the tax collector goes home at peace with God, and the one who seemed to have everything does not. Oh, Jesus, how come? What happened? This story is not really about one person being good and the other being really bad. It's about 2 different ways of approaching God. The Pharisee has built a life of careful, committed service. There is nothing wrong with that, beloved. Please, let's hear this very well. There is nothing wrong with living a careful, committed life of service. The difficulty is that over time, those good things have become something he leans on to define where he stands. His prayer reflects that it is sturdy, but it is closed. There is no sense of asking, no sense of needing, no sense of openness, no sense of needing God. Everything is already in place, Mos. Right? No? The tax collector comes with nothing to present. He does try to balance things out and explain himself, he does not. He does not even explain himself. He simply speaks honestly, and that honestly creates space. This way of living is not new to us. Many, many people carry a quiet pressure to hold things together. At work, we desire to do well, to be reliable, to stay on top of things. That can be good, but it can also become tiring when it starts to feel like everything depends on it. In our family lives, there can be a sense of wanting to get things right, to make good decisions, to provide where to be present. And again, this is a good desire for a parent, for their children, and for their family. But they can also carry a weight when we begin to feel that we must not fall short or make a simple mistake. In relationships, it can be difficult to admit when we are wrong. But I'm not in one, so yeah. But I'm in relationships with everyone here, right? And it can be sometimes difficult to say, I'm wrong. This is a me one. Not because we do not see it, but because it feels uncomfortable to let go of the image we're trying to maintain. In faith, this can show up in subtle ways. We find ourselves trying to pray in the right way or wondering whether we are doing enough. In the kitchen, let me bring it very, very down here. On Thursday night, some of us meet at 4:00, and it is fun. But there are moments like last week, Thursday, when we were doing the shepherd's pie. I find myself in this space where it's about perfection, doing it right, doing it. So Pastor I got permission. Pastor does the mashed potatoes. I was busy making the filling, and it became time to put it in the oven. Pastor fills the dishes, the trays with the filling, and now I'm the one supposed to do the mashed potato. And I scoop the first one, and I look at it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is not perfect. I do not say it, right? I don't say it, but I think it. And I freeze. Not because Pastor wants us to perform in the kitchen, but because there are moments when this creeps in to our lives, when we want to be perfect and good enough, or more than good enough. So at that moment, in my anxiety, in my frozenness, I'm like, how do you want this? And he's like, just slap it, cover, and that just was like, I'm gonna mess it up. And I say to him, I'm gonna mess it up, please, can I do what you're doing? And then we swap. He didn't know that at the time. But that's what I was feeling at the time. From the day we started, it had been fun, we had been laughing, but I got in that moment where I wanted it to be perfect. And the community that was in the kitchen, the moment of creating food that will be shared with all of us, the purpose of what we are doing went out the window. It was about making it perfect, but also about making sure that he is going to approve. He didn't say he wanted it perfect, but in my head, I concluded that he wanted it perfect. We swapped and life went on and we all had a beautiful shepherd's pie, right? Amen. So none of even that wanting to make sure that the food is presentable or all the other examples listed are wrong in themselves. The question is what they are carrying. The Pharisee helps us see what happens when good things begin to carry too much weight. His practices are not the problem. Him fasting, him giving regularly, that's not the problem. His discipline is also not the problem. The problem is that they have become the quiet foundation of how he understands himself before God. And when this happens, something closes. There's less room to be honest. There's less room for surprises. Less room for receiving anything new. Less room for creativity, my advisor would say. It is possible to have a life that looks full and yet a little tight. The tax collector offers a different picture. He does not try to manage the moment. He does not try to shape how he's seen. He simply tells the truth. God, be merciful to me. It is a short prayer, but it is open. It does not try to secure anything. It leaves space. Be merciful. I might be messing up on one thing, thinking I'm messing up here, but if I say, God, be merciful, God will fulfill that, and in time I will see this is what I needed to work on. But if I give God a laundry list of all the things that I've done well, there's no room to even allow the Spirit to come in and help me get to that place where my relationship with my Creator, our relationship with our Creator, is where we want it to be. This is why this passage speaks so clearly during Lent. Lent is not simply a time to give up things for the sake of it. It is a time to notice what we are holding on to. One of the things we often hold on to is the need to reassure ourselves that we're doing well, that we are enough, that we are on track. Trust me, that on track as a PhD student is big. Lent invites us gently to lose our grip on that, to notice where we may rely on our efforts more than we realize. To notice where things feel a little tight or heavy, or to consider it might be like bringing a little more honesty into those spaces. So what then is the measure of enough? Because that's the sermon subject. The story suggests that it is not found in what we accumulate or maintain. It is not something we secure through effort. It is something we discover in relationship. It is found in spaces where we no longer feel the need to prove ourselves. and where we allow ourselves to be received. The tax collector does not leave because he has achieved something. He leaves because he has been met by God in his honesty. There's a quiet invitation here for all of us to come before God without needing to have everything in place. I'm going to say that again because maybe I'm saying it to me. The invitation here for all of us is to come before God without needing to have everything in place. To come as we are. In our brokenness, in that word. It's here. It does not want to come out. Inadequacies, yes. To speak simply and honestly, to trust that we do not need to earn what is already given. As we continue through Lent, you and I pray that it may be worthy paying attention to where we are still keeping the score, even in small ways in the kitchen. Where you wonder did I dice the carrots small enough? And then gently set that aside. Because the measure of enough is not something we have to reach. It is something we are invited to receive. Because it is not by our works that we are saved. We just need to receive. Amen.